Taekyu asserted confidently, "This will definitely be a success." Hyunju asked, "Why are you so sure?" Taekyu explained, "Have you ever ordered pizza when you're starving only for it to arrive late? It's so frustrating, right? You can endure that much. But what if it's cold, greasy and missing toppings? I've been through it more than once. But here they par-bake it and finish cooking it in the oven during delivery. So not only is the delivery fast but the pizza arrives hot and fresh. Once you try a pizza like that, would you go back to ordering from anywhere else?" The idea sounded convincing when he said it, but I wasn't entirely convinced. "Does it make that big of a difference?" Taekyu replied sharply, "If you close your eyes and eat, who can tell the difference between Dice Pizza and Mama's?" Silent as I was, even with my eyes open I couldn't distinguish between them. Milo, not understanding Korean, may not have comprehended what Taekyu was saying, but he could sense his passionate defense. Quickly chiming in, Milo said, "By reducing labor costs and investing that money generously in ingredients, we plan to buy fresh organic ingredients and load up on the toppings." As I translated, Taikyu's voice rose once again. "Exactly. I order pizza at least every other day, so I know the life of a pizza lies in its ingredients and toppings." Seemingly confident in good food, is it that someone who consumes a lot of meat eats well, or someone who has eaten a lot of pizza knows better? Turning cold and tasteless delivery pizza into piping hot and delicious pizza. This is true innovation. Dice Pizza and Mama's should watch out. Initially I thought Taekyu would just sit quietly like a mouse throughout the meeting. But from earlier until now he is as active as a fish in water. And here I am not saying a word. First out of embarrassment, now out of not knowing what to say. If I had known this would happen, I should have ordered pizza more often. Hyunju was still in a skeptical position, but Ellie had a different perspective. Unlike in Korea, pizza is practically the staple food for Americans. They might react sensitively even to small differences in taste. M-Pizza needs a total investment of $4.5 million, allocated for the automation facilities using robots, improving the ordering system, buying delivery trucks and marketing. In the age of overflowing new industries, is it right to invest in a pizza company? If it weren't for foresight we might have overlooked it. Taekyu kept strongly advocating. We must invest no matter what. After reviewing the proposal for the last time, I nodded in agreement. Let's do it. Hyunju told Milo, we will invest in M-Pizza. Negotiations were held on the stake purchase scope and various conditions. Once successful negotiations concluded, Ellie drafted the investment agreement and both parties signed it. The final meeting concluded. As I dragged my tired body back to the room, it was already 10 p.m. I couldn't even recall how the day had passed in a daze. Plop. I collapsed onto the bed without even changing out of my suit. Too lazy to change clothes. Unlike me, worn out, Taekyu seemed unfazed. Not tired at all? Just sitting. What's tiring about it? Physically I wasn't tired. However, mentally the pressure was substantial. Dealing with significant sums of money doesn't allow for easy relaxation. I admire Hyunju Nuna, who deals with these things so casually. And that guy who was nonchalantly yawning in such a situation. Do you think of playing a business simulation game? Have you ever played SimCity? No, I haven't. If I had thought it would be helpful in situations like this, should I have tried it? Let's play a game before going to bed. We are not staying here for just one day but for a long stay. That's why Taekyu brought game consoles and laptops from home. He skillfully connected the game console to the hotel wall TV. It doesn't look much different from our living room. I showered and changed into comfortable clothes. I have back-to-back meetings scheduled for tomorrow as well. I need to quickly sleep and wake up to prepare for tomorrow's schedule. I closed my eyes to sleep, but sleep didn't come easily. The reason is, I suddenly woke up and shouted, "Go to sleep. Don't worry about me, you go to sleep first." I wish I could do that too. But every time a skill is used, a loud noise rings out and light flashes from the TV. This place costs over 400,000 won per night, and the expenses are coming out of our pockets. Hyunju, Nuna and Ellie had separate rooms, but we didn't need to use different rooms, so we only booked one room. But if I had known, I would have booked a separate room. In the end, I gave up on sleeping, got off the bed and put on my shoes. Where are you going? Just going out for some fresh air. Come back soon. I stepped outside the hotel and breathed in the cold air. Despite the late hour, I could see planes taking off. Even at this time, there are people leaving Korea. I gazed at the night sky, lost in thought. A regular college student, suddenly came into billions, and now I'm using that money to buy foreign startups. It all happened in just a few months. Suddenly, Sina came to mind. Is this what she meant by success? As I wandered around the hotel, lost in useless thoughts, I saw a woman in workout clothes running towards me from across the street. Exercising at this late hour? As she came closer, I could see her face. Surprisingly, I knew her. Ellie looked at me, stopped walking, and removed her earphones. Are you working out at this hour? I asked. She smiled in response. After the flight, I felt a bit restless. I was just jogging lightly before bed. Her sweaty hair contradicted her claim of a light jog. Why are you out here, Jinhoo? Oh. I couldn't sleep, so I was contemplating various things. What kind of things? I couldn't bring myself to mention thoughts of my ex, so I just said whatever came to mind. Well, about future global economic trends and upcoming investment plans. As I spoke, I realized how nonsensical I must sound in front of someone working at Golden Gate. I looked closely at Ellie. With her short brown hair, fair skin, and large eyes with neatly groomed eyebrows, she stood at around 170 centimeters tall, boasting an overwhelming volume in her figure. In her tight-fitting workout clothes, it was hard not to be drawn to her. If a stranger saw her, wouldn't they think she was a Western model rather than a lawyer? While lost in these thoughts, Ellie asked me, "Are you still thinking about future global economic trends and upcoming investment plans?" "Oh no, I'm all done thinking about that. I'm going to head in and get some sleep." As I was about to return to the hotel, Ellie said, "Would you like to have a drink together?" Sure. At this hour? It was late and the hotel bar had closed. However, in Korea there are plenty of places that sell alcohol 24/7. I sat under a parasol. It was cold, but since I wasn't planning to stay long anyway, there wasn't a better place to go at this time. Ellie came back from the convenience store with 2 cans of beer in hand. "Here you go." "Thank you." I accepted the beer. "I was planning to drink alone in my room, so I'm lucky to have met you, Jinhoo. I never thought I'd run into you at this hour." I chuckled and replied, "Same here. We're lucky to have bumped into each other." We lightly clinked our cans of beer. "Is this your first time in Korea?" Ellie tilted her head. "It's my 3rd time. But it's my first time coming here for work." "Thank you for inviting me." "I should be more thankful for calling me." I found Jessica's story quite intriguing. "Hyunju Nuna. Are you close with Jessica?" Ellie nodded her head. "There aren't many women of similar age inside the company. We also share the commonality of being in Korea. Even if you say similar age, isn't there quite a difference?" I glanced at Ellie. It's not easy to judge age just by looks. Anyway, we might not have much of an age gap, but she gives off a much more mature vibe. That's probably the difference between a university student and a working professional at a major company. Ellie spoke as she sipped her beer. I was quite surprised by the story. The company that shook up the finance industry, OTK Company, turns out to be run by Jessica's sibling and friend. I was quite astonished by that statement. Was it that big of a deal? It was a huge incident. Financial institutions suffered massive losses. Samsung Electronics is a global major company. Their smartphones are selling tens of times more internationally than domestically. Therefore, the AL6 explosion was a worldwide issue. Financial companies that issued related options suffered enormous losses. Just the losses incurred by Golden Gate amount to hundreds of millions. But amidst all that, this unknown company, OTK Company, made hundreds of millions in profit. When this fact came to light, everyone was astounded, especially within Golden Gate. OTK Company has opened an account at Golden Gate's Asian branch since its establishment. But the account's balance had surged to over $600 million. While there are many wealthy people in the world, those who hold such substantial cash assets are rare. Naturally, it drew significant attention. It's strange to think that what I did caught the attention of the finance industry. I really think it's impressive. It was just luck. True. Predicting the discontinuation of the L6 was one thing, boldly deciding to invest in options was another. It wasn't just luck that made it happen. It was me who predicted the discontinuation of the L6, but it was Taekyu who put in the funds. Taekyu was the one who strongly urged me to invest when I hesitated. And I also received significant help from Senior Sanjiop along the way. Even with the extraordinary ability of foresight, I couldn't have done it alone. This time is no different. Thanks to the materials Hyunju sent me, I was able to select the startups, and domestic investments are being led by Senior Sanjiop. If I didn't have trustworthy people around me, would I have been wandering alone? Everyone thinks OTK Company is a Japanese investment firm, right? So when I first mentioned it to Jessica, she thought it was a joke. She understood after hearing the name, but still. I nodded and smiled. It's a name that can be misunderstood. It's a relief that people don't think it's a Korean company. It shows that the company was named well. Listening further, I start to feel a connection. I looked at Ellie. Thank you for coming all the way to Korea. Ellie smiled. It's an honor to work together. The night air was quite chilly. Ellie shook an empty beer can. I'd like another drink, but I should think about tomorrow, right? Shall we call it a night? We went back to the hotel together and took the elevator. My room is on the 20th floor, and Ellie's room is on the 21st floor. Ding. The elevator stopped on the 20th floor. Well, see you tomorrow. As we exchanged farewells and I was about to get off the elevator, Ellie said, there was something I was curious about from earlier. Can I ask you now? Sure. What is it? Who is your favorite actor? Actor. When I seemed to not understand, Ellie smiled and said, I mean an actor from adult films. I want to keep it a secret just for myself. For a few days in a row, the meetings continued. This time, the meeting partner was a Chinese startup. Over the past 10 years, the Chinese economy has grown terrifyingly. China had suddenly surpassed Japan and taken the position of the world's second-largest economy, alongside the United States, leading the world economy as the G2. With rapid economic development, young people entered entrepreneurship, and successful individuals quickly joined the ranks of the newly rich. The joke that one could become a millionaire overnight in China was no longer a joke. While the pace of economic growth was slowing down, China was still seen as a land of opportunity. Xiaomin from Hangzhou, who worked at an IT company, and Yao, who worked at a logistics company, left their jobs to start a startup to seize new opportunities. China is a vast continent. Despite extensive railway development inland after economic development, a significant portion of logistics still relied on road transport. The problem was that it was being run crudely by shippers and drivers. For instance, a truck carrying goods from Shanghai would arrive in Xi'an to unload and return empty, while in Xi'an, people would be scrambling to find someone to transport goods back to Shanghai. Moreover, some rural cities had poor transportation conditions, leading to frequent delays in goods arriving on time, causing losses for both shippers and drivers. Xiaomin spoke in English, explaining the potential savings of over 30% in logistics costs if goods were efficiently transported according to the route. Hyunju asked several questions after listening to the explanation, to which Xiaomin responded diligently. While Xiaomin was passionate and actively engaging, Yao, sitting next to him with folded arms, appeared uncomfortable throughout. As we reviewed the proposal, Xiaomin and Yao quietly conversed in Chinese, which I couldn't understand. Nonetheless, the atmosphere didn't seem pleasant. What are they talking about? I thought, just as Ellie said, don't worry. We're not trying to con you. This surprised them. It seemed they didn't expect a white-looking woman to understand Chinese. Ellie said, I am Hong Kong Chinese. Hong Kong people consider themselves as Hong Kongers, but mainlanders see Hong Kong as part of China. That's why Ellie purposely referred to herself as Chinese. After that, the conversation became more comfortable. Yao, who had been displaying discomfort throughout the meeting, became more proactive than Xiaomin, and the investment was decided after the equity negotiations. Even after that, we were able to meet entrepreneurs of various nationalities, such as from India, Vietnam, the Philippines, etc. They were full of ideas and passion, ready to bring about new changes. In a way, my role ended when the selection of these companies was made. Deciding on the investment amount and equity acquisition was Hyunju's job. Hyunju skillfully led the negotiations, and I learned a lot by observing her. Time flew by quickly. Feels like just yesterday when I left home and came to the hotel, but I'm gradually getting used to this lifestyle. Ring ring. I woke Taekyu, who was sleeping next to me, in time with the alarm. Hey, wake up. Taekyu, pulling the blanket over his head, said, let me sleep a bit more. There are no meetings today. Still, we need to go for breakfast. As I kept trying to wake him, Taekyu grumbled, Since when do you care about breakfast? It's not a wrong statement. Normally I tend to skip breakfast. However, with the room rate exceeding 400,000 won, a breakfast buffet is included. If I were alone, I might not have gone there often, but it became a routine to gather and have breakfast with Hyunju, Ellie, and Taekyu every morning before starting work. Dragging Taekyu, who wanted to sleep more, I headed down to the restaurant on the first floor. About half of the people dining were foreigners. Perhaps a bit late, most of the good seats were already taken. Over here. Turning my head at the voice, I saw Hyunju and Ellie sitting by the window. We walked over and joined them. You're here early. Ellie greeted warmly. Did you sleep well, Jinhoo? Yes. After spending a few days together, we naturally grew closer. Ellie now called me and Taekyu comfortably by our names. While practically apart from sleeping or resting, we were together all day. Once reluctant Taekyu sat down, he got himself food. Seems like he gets hungry once he's up, even if he didn't want to get up. Hyunju leisurely sipped her coffee. It feels like a holiday after so long. I asked her, what are you up to today? I have to work in the room. There are a few things I need to take care of. Although Hyunju was dispatched to help us with our work, it was difficult for her to completely detach from her existing responsibilities. So whenever she had time, she would conduct meetings through video calls or handle tasks via email. It is the same for Ellie as well. However, since their work domains differ, Ellie wasn't as busy as Hyunju Nuna. Ellie spent most of their break time exercising. They mainly played squash and swam, and it seems that such a great physique doesn't come easily. Luckily, there are various exercise facilities such as a gym, squash court, indoor and outdoor swimming pools, and a screen golf course inside the building. Ellie asked me, do you have any plans, Jinhoo? No, I don't. Unlike the always busy two individuals, Taekyu and I had some free time when we didn't have meetings. That's the difference between being an employer and an employee. Ellie reacted to my words. That's good. I want to do some sightseeing in Seoul. Can you guide me? The hotel is connected to a resort, where you can enjoy shopping, dining, movies, and cultural activities without going outside. There's even a casino for foreign tourists, although it's exclusive to foreigners, so only Ellie can enter. Even so, it might feel suffocating to stay only inside the hotel while in Korea. Hyunju Nuna asked with a passing tone while drinking coffee, is it a date proposal, Ellie? While I was embarrassed, Ellie smiled. Is that so? How about it, Jinhoo? I nodded, oh sure. Then I'll go up to prepare for the date. See you in the lobby in an hour. Ellie got up from the seat and went up to the room first. I observed that appearance and asked Hyunju Nuna, is that Hong Kong-style humor? Hyunju Nuna replied as she set down her coffee cup. Think for yourself. Isn't it better to think positively when she says that? Unlike Taekyu leisurely eating breakfast, I grabbed a few pieces of bread and headed to the room, getting ready to go out after washing up. What should I wear? Wearing a suit might be a bit odd, right? I took out a pair of jeans from my suitcase and put on a clean shirt. I wished I had brought more clothes from home if I had known this would happen. But where should I go sightseeing? I thought about tourist spots foreigners might like, but nothing specific came to mind. I usually don't know much about local tourist attractions. With time running out, I hurriedly left the room. Ellie was already in the lobby. You came down early. She was wearing skinny jeans, a white knit sweater, and a beige coat. Her face had light makeup along with small earrings and a necklace. Seeing her in something different from her usual formal wear, she seemed more like a university student studying abroad in Korea than a lawyer. I silently felt relieved that I didn't wear a suit. Ellie asked me, how do I look? Does it look weird? I quickly nodded. Yes, it suits you well. The styles that suit you go beyond being dazzling. Surrounding men glanced at her coyly. Shall we go then? The hotel was quite far from the airport railway station, so they operated a shuttle bus back and forth. As they stepped out of the main entrance, they saw the shuttle bus leaving. The next departure was in 20 minutes, a time not quite worth waiting. I think we should take a taxi. Just then a taxi pulled up nearby. As I tried to flag down the taxi, a small car stopped in front of us. Onlookers, including the hotel staff at the entrance, looked at the car with surprise. The driver got out confidently, ignoring the surrounding stares. It was none other than Taekyu. He handed me the car keys while I was still in shock. Take these, buddy. Huh. What was he up to? Was he really going to lend me his car? Seeing my confusion, Taikyu grinned. I'm lending it to you, just you. Why just me? What did I do wrong? Taikyu's car was a red compact car, specifically a sport coupe made by the Korean GM branch that took over Daewoo. It being a compact car didn't matter. Nowadays, compact cars are stylish and well-equipped. The issue was the large stickers on both sides. They depicted a female character from a game, turning Taikyu's car from an ordinary compact car to an ota car, or rather an otaku car. Seeing me standing there dumbfounded, he patted my shoulder and said, "Don't worry, just take it already." It's too much pressure. I've somewhat adapted to it, but I still feel embarrassed every time I get off. And now they're asking me to drive. It's one thing if it's just me, but I can't let Ellie feel this shame too. Might be better to rent a different car. But Ellie opened the passenger door and got into the car first. Thank you, Taikyu. I'll behave. I missed the chance to refuse while hesitating. I reluctantly accepted the car keys. As I tried to get into the driver's seat, Taikyu said something. Drive carefully so that precious Lucy won't get hurt. Who's Lucy? The car's name. No. The character's name stuck on the door. Didn't you notice it even though you see it every day? I didn't want to know. The compact car sped across the extended Yongjong Bridge. I do have a driver's license, but it's been a while since I last drove. Fortunately, I quickly adjusted. Anyway, it's an automatic transmission, so I just need to alternate between the accelerator and brake. Once we pass the airport expressway onto the Gangbyeon-bukuro or Olympic Boulevard, we'll reach the city quickly. As I drove, I pondered. Which tourist spot would be good to take the foreign tourists? Although I live in Seoul, I can't remember visiting places like Gyeongbokgung Palace or Namsan Tower. I should probably ask them directly, right? Is there somewhere you'd like to go? Yes, there is. Where? In response to my question, Ellie replied with a smile. Korea University. Among the universities located in Seoul, Korea University boasts the largest scale. It was established just after the liberation. At that time, land prices were low, allowing for the construction of large campuses. Being one of the largest and best universities in Korea, it attracts many tourists from both local regions and foreign countries. There are even shops selling t-shirts and souvenirs with the university logo. Despite its size and reputation, there isn't much to see once you actually visit. Why Korea University? I asked Ellie. In response to my question, Ellie replied, I've visited many tourist spots in Korea since it's my third time here, but I haven't had the chance to visit Korea University. I've heard a lot about it from Jessica, so I've always wanted to visit. Really? If it's been 10 years since Hyunja's college days, a lot must have changed. They say even a mountain can change in 10 years, so a university campus would surely have undergone some changes as well. New buildings have been constructed or remodeled, all thanks to the hard-earned tuition fees students have paid. Well then, let's go to Korea University. I marked Korea University as our destination on the map on my smartphone. Since it was a weekday and past rush hour, the roads weren't congested. Are you also a student at Korea University? Yes, I'm majoring in business administration. Did Jessica studied economics? That's right. As we exited Gangbyeon-bukuro, the campus of Korea University gradually came into view. Pointing at the vast campus sprawled beneath Mount Honsun, I said, there is Korea University. It's really huge. By the time we arrived at the university, I realized an important issue: the car we were in. This car is not just an ordinary car, it's an Opel Gukka. If rumors spread that someone is driving this kind of car, they might feel too embarrassed to walk around with their head held high. Luckily, Korea University is spacious, and it's currently on vacation. I hope I won't run into anyone I know, right? Thinking like that, I entered the campus of Korea University. It's been a long time since I've been here. It's my first time back since taking a break and serving in the military. I parked my car in a secluded corner near the central library parking lot. After making sure there was no one around, I quickly got out. Let me guide you to the library first. I headed towards the library building with Ellie. The Korea University Library is as large as the campus itself. In addition to study rooms, reading rooms, restaurants, and cafes, there was also an exhibition hall displaying national treasures. Can ordinary people come in here? There are areas open to the public and there are areas only for students. As I walked her through, Passing students stopped in their tracks to look at us. Regardless of gender, everyone's gaze was fixed. Of course, they weren't looking at me but at Ellie beside me. Korea University has established exchange student programs with top universities around the world. Therefore, seeing foreigners on campus was not uncommon. What caught everyone's attention were her looks. Tall stature, slender legs, a voluptuous figure and sharp features. Adding to the mix was her unique biracial charm. Just standing there, she looked like she belonged in a fashion magazine. I knew she was beautiful, but I didn't expect her to attract this much attention. I was starting to feel uncomfortable. But Ellie, the one at the center of it all, seemed unfazed. Well, she must have experienced this kind of thing a few times before. Even during the vacation, the library was bustling with studious students. Ellie, looking surprised, remarked, "People here are really driven. Finding a job is difficult these days." Long ago, roughly back in the days when tigers used to smoke, there was a time when just having a degree from a major university meant that big companies would eagerly recruit you. However, now it's tough to find employment and there are quite a few seniors who are delaying their graduation. But everyone really knows how to have fun when it's time to play. The festivals at Korea University are quite famous in the area. Many students from nearby universities also come to join in on the fun. After touring the library, we sat down at the cafe on the first floor. "So, Jinhoo, are you on a leave of absence now?" "Yes." "Do you plan to continue attending school?" "Probably. Nowadays, I wonder what significance a school graduation certificate holds, but anyway, once the corporate acquisition process is over, there won't be much for me to do. Mother must be hoping for me to graduate as well." I sipped my coffee and gazed out the window. I could see students gathering in groups of 3 or 5. I also saw couples walking arm in arm. If I hadn't developed some sort of foresight, wouldn't I have just returned to school and lived an ordinary student life? Then I wouldn't have met Ellie. Since I'm at school, should I reach out to Minyoung? But then I realized I didn't have my phone in my pocket. I remembered I had left it on the center poja while checking the navigation. I told Ellie, "I'm going to grab my phone from the car." "Take your time," she replied. I walked out of the central library building towards the parking lot. Right next to my car was a large white car that wasn't there before. A white Bentley convertible. Continental GT perhaps? Not a car a student would normally drive. I opened the car door and took out my phone, which was inside. Just then a call came in. Ring. It was Senior Sanjiop. I pressed the answer button. "What's up, Senior?" Through the handset, I could hear Senior Sanjiop's voice. "I just wanted to check in with you for a moment. Is it a good time to talk?" "Yes. I don't have any meetings today, so I'm taking it easy." While OTK Company was meeting directly with foreign startups for investment, Senior Sanjiop was investing in Korean startups under the name of K Company. "Are you very busy?" "I have back-to-back meetings today. I'm on my way from the office to Pangeo right now." "Is it worth it? Do you find it fulfilling?" In response to my question, Senior Sanjiop replied melodramatically, "I'm working hard to avoid getting fired. After I finish up here, I'll stop by the office." As I was about to end the call, Senior Sanjiop said, "Jinhoo." "Yes. Thank you." Although just one word, it felt truly sincere. I chuckled and said, "You are just getting started. Why are you thanking me already?" "Save the gratitude for later." "Ha, got it. See you later." The brief call ended. Senior Sanjiop's voice was full of vitality. Despite being busy and tough, he seemed enthusiastic and energetic. I put my phone in my pocket and got out of the car, and about 10 students were walking in my direction. Among them, I saw some familiar faces. It was none other than Minyoung and Kyunjil. Kyunjil spoke to the students behind him. "Do you know that the cafeteria in the Central Library at Hanguk University has the best food? I'll treat you all today, so eat to your heart's content." "Wow. Senior, you're the best." "Thank you. We'll enjoy the meal." "Are they going to have a meal with their juniors?" Normally, I would have pretended not to notice, but it would be awkward to face them in this situation. I quickly bowed my head, but at that moment our eyes met. I pretended not to notice and motioned for him to pass by. Kyunjil shouted out cheerfully for everyone to hear. "Hey, Kang Jinhoo, and NBC. This guy?" Minyoung, along with the juniors following behind, all stared at me at once. I awkwardly raised my hand. "Oh, long time no see." Kyunjil looked at the car and exclaimed, "Wow, Whose car is this? Is this yours? Minyoung was also surprised. I didn't know you had this hobby? The juniors also seemed puzzled. It seemed like they were all seeing a car enthusiast like me for the first time. Minyoung first introduced me to the younger students. This is our fellow classmate Kong Jin-ho. Everyone say hello. Hello, senior. And nice to meet you. Now is not the time for greetings. Making a mistake could brand me as an otaku senior. That's not it. I was trying to explain that it wasn't my car, just borrowed for a moment, but a sharp voice cut in. Why do you have these things in your car? Brown hair, heavy makeup, big hoop earrings. A female student carried a Louis Vuitton bag in flashy and eye-catching attire. On this cold day she wore a short skirt with revealing thin clothes and nearly straight high heels, almost perpendicular to the foot. Shouldn't she have gone to the dance department instead of business management? Looks like a ballerina. You're here too. He was my department junior, Lee Jaime. Due to her pretty and flashy appearance she was quite popular within the department, but our relationship wasn't good. It was because of a group project at the beginning of the semester. It overlapped with our major subjects, and our professor, who was also the department head, made it a substitute for the final exam. Everyone was enthusiastic about it. However, Jaime frequently skipped, citing prior commitments. Even when she did attend, she didn't prepare the materials properly. As the group leader at the time, when I pointed this out, she just laughed it off with cuteness. While other classmates seemed satisfied I couldn't. I warned her that if she skipped one more time, I would remove her name entirely. She just laughed it off again and skipped again the next day, claiming she had something urgent. In the end, I presented without her name on the day of the presentation. It was a pretty good presentation for a first year, and thanks to it most of the group received a grades. However, Jaime got an F. After the lecture Jaime made a scene, crying and causing a commotion. After that, even if they ran into each other in the classroom, they didn't even greet each other. Jaime openly sneered at me. Aren't you ashamed of driving around like that? Actually, I am ashamed. I sighed inwardly and replied. Why does it bother anyone how I decorate my car? You should also consider what others think. It's unpleasant for them. Fine, I get it's embarrassing, but why do I have to care if it makes others feel bad too? What's it to you if it makes others feel bad? Then, as if she had been waiting, Jaime continued. You don't feel bad driving around with stickers that objectify women as sexual objects. What nonsense is this? How is this related to objectifying women? When I didn't respond, Jaime kept arguing. This is exactly what misogyny is. Aren't you sorry for your female juniors? Why bring up misogyny here? Come to think of it, back then didn't she talk about misogyny when I removed her name from our group assignment? Baffled, Minyoung murmured softly. Don't pay attention to her. She'll get over it in a day or two. Yeah, but it's hard to adjust to this after a long time. Hasn't anyone said anything around her? Still, the guys accept it because she's pretty. I nodded. Anyway, those guys who accept it just because she's pretty are also a problem. At that moment, the lights on the Bentley parked next to us turned on. Beep beep. Jaime waved her hand as if things were going well. Junhyung Sr. Sina. Sina. I turned my gaze. A man and a woman with their arms crossed were walking toward us. With a small face, big eyes, a button nose, fair skin and long hair, Sina did not dress or wear makeup extravagantly, but had a beauty that captured attention at a glance. Sina's eyes widened in surprise when she saw me. I was surprised too. There was a man next to her. The two of them stopped in front of the Bentley. I had no desire to appear as if I wanted to show off driving a foreign car after succeeding, but I also didn't want to run into them in this situation. Looking back and forth between the white Bentley convertible and the red compact car with a game character sticker, I thought to myself, I should have bought a car sooner. It's their second meeting after breaking up. I had worried it might be awkward to meet again, but when our eyes met, it didn't feel strange at all. No jealousy or resentment arose. Was everything settled that day? Sina greeted first. Hello. Oh, hi. We awkwardly greeted while attracting people's attention. The man with Sina reached out his hand after looking at me. We've met before, right? I shook his hand and replied. Yes, briefly at the festival. Nice to meet you. The kids talked a lot about you. I'm glad to meet you too. Why did you come to school? A friend wanted to take a look around the school. I looked at Go Junhyung. He was the son of GH Construction, a leading domestic conglomerate. Tall and handsome with broad shoulders as if he worked out, he had a good physique. Regardless of being from a wealthy family, he had a charming appearance that captivated people's attention. Strong confidence was evident in his gestures and gaze. He held the car keys in his hand. I wondered who came to school driving a car worth 300 million. That's a house price for ordinary people. I might have been surprised in the past, but now I felt indifferent. Jaime casually said to Sian, "Have you seen Jinhoo's car? Isn't it really something?" Originally, the two weren't very close. The reason being, ever since they were freshmen, Jaime unilaterally guarded against Sienna, who received more attention than herself. Sienna asked, "Interesting car. Is it yours?" "It's my friend's car. I borrowed it for a while." Go Junhyung said, "No need to make excuses. Tastes vary." He subtly shifted the conversation into an excuse. Instead of arguing, I just smiled and nodded. That's right. Taste should be respected. It's a problem when people pick on others for their tastes. Junhyung also smiled. Who does that? Although he was smiling, the look in his eyes as he gazed at me was meaningful. There are people like that. I too looked meaningfully at Junhyung. Suddenly, as if stung alone, Jaime chimed in, giggling. Hilarious, really. I understand that it's tough with your parents' business failing, but still, driving to school in this kind of car is a bit over the top. I tried to hold back my annoyance, usually trying to stay calm, but I couldn't resist this time. What did you just say? When I glared at her with a stern expression, Jaime flinched and backed away. What did I say? Hey Jaime. Wow, are you yelling at me right now? This is what gender violence looks like. Suddenly, Kyunjil stepped forward as if to protect Jaime. Jinhoo, just hold on a bit. Why is he stepping forward? Why should I endure this? Because she's a woman. Even this guy who only cares because she's pretty is a problem. I told Kyunjil, step aside. I need to talk to her alone. Seemingly agitated by Kyunjil's arrival, Jaime spoke from behind him. He tries to hit a weak woman just because he's a little angry. That's the problem with our country. Then she took out her phone. I'm going to report you. What are you reporting? You raised your voice and tried to hit me. I never tried to hit you. It doesn't matter what you intended. What matters is how I felt. Don't you know that if a woman feels threatened, it's considered violence? Where do people learn such audacious logic? Is there an academy that teaches this kind of thing? Go Junhyung, along with Sienna, observed the situation with an intrigued look. Even if it's not them, there are too many juniors around. Fighting with her here would only tarnish my image, but what does it matter anyway? Let's consider properly educating her as a way to contribute to society. Do you not think bringing up my family's issues has crossed the line? At that moment, English was heard from behind. Hey Jinhoo. What's happening? I turned my head to see Ellie walking towards us. It seems she came looking for me when I didn't return after a while. Ellie naturally approached and stood next to me. Who are these? My classmate. Looking at Ellie, who seemed to have popped out of a fashion magazine, my colleagues and juniors couldn't hide their surprise. Sienna and Go Junhyung were equally astonished. Minyoung asked me, is she your companion? Yeah. Ellie wanted to tour the school, so I'm showing her around. Suddenly, the gaze of my juniors towards me completely changed. It felt like I had transformed from an otaku to an outstanding senior in an instant. How do you know each other? What should I say to this? Ellie was sent from the Golden Gate Asia office to Korea to help me with my work. But I couldn't reveal this fact directly. Minyoung asked Ellie in English, what brought you here? Ellie smiled and replied, I got kind of so bored after a couple of days in the hotel with Jinhoo that I asked him to take me around. Everyone was taken aback by her words. A hotel? For how many days? Kyunjil exclaimed. Really, with Kang Jinhoo? Ah well. It wasn't entirely false, but it was a statement open to misinterpretation. Colleagues and juniors, without distinction, looked at me with looks of admiration and praise. What are these crazy guys thinking right now? As if wondering what had just happened, all eyes turned to Ellie. She exuded such an overwhelming presence. Not pleased with the situation, Jaime piped up, hotel? How can you casually talk about such dirty stuff in front of others? You're that kind of woman. It's embarrassing for a fellow woman. I was taken aback. Are you crazy? Why? Did I say something wrong? Just because your mouth is a gateway doesn't mean you can say anything. If you think your brain isn't working properly when you speak, then just don't speak at all, I chimed in. Seemingly not satisfied, Minyoung also got angry. You were too harsh, Jaime. Stop it. Wow, are you taking sides just because you're a guy? Jaime exclaimed. I turned to Kyunjil, who was protecting Jaime. Step aside. Okay. Seeing my expression, Kyunjil seemed surprised and stepped back. With her human shield gone, Jaime was flustered. Don't come closer. If you come near, I'll report you to the police. She's really making a fuss. Go ahead and report. Let's see what happens. I really will. Ellie grabbed my arm. Jinhoo, hold on. Then Ellie stepped forward in front of me and spoke to Jaime fluently in Korean. It's been a while since the introduction. Ellie Kim. What is your name? Jaime, who was sneering, was taken aback. Apparently, she didn't expect someone to understand Korean so well. I am Jaime Lee, a third-year student majoring in business at Korea University. And may I ask what you do? Despite feeling flustered, Jaime emphasized her affiliation with Korea University in a confident manner, a classic move of flaunting the prestigious university label. Ellie smiled and said, I am a lawyer at Golden Gate. Upon hearing this, everyone let out exclamations of amazement. Wow. Golden Gate, the American IB firm. A lawyer. No one could have thought that a woman with a model-like appearance would be a lawyer. Furthermore, working at Golden Gate was unexpected. Golden Gate is the world's largest IB firm with top talents competing for positions. How rare is it for a Korean university graduate to be hired? Perhaps once every few years across all undergraduate departments. Pushing the Korea University label in front of Golden Gate was like turning on a flashlight in front of a searchlight. Is that true? Do you have any proof? Ellie took out a business card from her wallet and handed it over. The card displayed her name and job title in English and Chinese. Jaime's eyes widened. At this point it was hard to deny, but her expression still conveyed disbelief. Maybe she just didn't want to admit it. Ellie looked straight at Jaime and asked, but what does it mean when you just told me, a woman working in that area? All eyes turned toward Jaime. That's. Ellie hardened her expression and spoke in a formal tone. Do you know that it is extremely rude and disrespectful to say such things to someone you've just met? What? And are you aware that under Article 311 of the Korean Criminal Code, you can be punished for defamation? When the topic of punishment came up, Jaime became flustered. And did I defame anyone? I never intended to do that. I reiterated what she said earlier. It doesn't matter what your intentions were. What matters is how Ellie felt. If the woman felt that way, wasn't it true? The usually vocal person suddenly fell silent. Not knowing what to do, Jaime rolled her eyes and then suddenly took out her phone, muttering, Oh, I forgot I have plans. I have a friend waiting for me. I'll go first. I blocked her path. Where are you off to? You should apologize first. Ellie crossed her arms and said, If you apologize, we can forget about this. If you don't want to, should I formally raise this issue? Jaime looked around for support. Apparently deciding she could no longer stand by, her female juniors all stepped forward together. Hey girls. Jaime's expression brightened when she believed she had allies on her side. However, the words that came out of her female juniors' mouths were completely different from what she had expected. Please apologize, senior. That's right. Senior, you were in the wrong. You've been too harsh since earlier. What will happen to the image of the business administration department if you keep this up? I'm thoroughly disappointed. It was as if a demand for an apology was pouring down, reminiscent of a congressional hearing. In the end, Jaime, pushed by public opinion, reluctantly bowed her head. I'm sorry. I take back what I said earlier. The insincere apology came to an end. Well, I have plans, so. I gestured for her to go. Yeah. Of course you do. Jaime bit her lips slightly and glared at me. Seeing her eyes welling up with tears, she seemed quite angry. What can you do when someone glares at you? You're late? Hurry away. I see you later, everyone. Jaime fled as if escaping somewhere. Even after all that, she would probably show up at school the next day as if nothing had happened. That's quite a talent, isn't it? One of the female juniors stepped forward as a representative and bowed to Ellie. We'll apologize on her behalf. We're truly sorry. Did you feel really bad? Ellie smiled and shook her head. It's okay. It didn't really bother me that much. Why then? Ellie said to the junior who was asking for a reason. I watched her as she walked and the way she treated Jinhoo was too harsh. So, did she intentionally step in because of me? Ellie narrowed her eyes slightly towards me. Thank you. For what? For apologizing on my behalf. It's the least I could do. Then Ellie jokingly said, it's not important why Jinhoo acted that way. What's important is how I felt. If a woman feels that way, then it must be right, right? Upon hearing that, laughter escaped me involuntarily. Well, I guess so. After the situation was settled, Go Junhyung spoke to Ellie. Nice to meet you. I'm Junhyung Go. What's your business in Korea? Thanks to her elite education since she was young, Ellie's pronunciation was so fluent that she could pass for a native speaker. Ellie replied in English, I have an important business to take care of. May I ask what it is? I'm sorry, but it's confidential. Oh, I am sorry. He took out his wallet from his pocket and handed her his business card. It must be fate that we met like this. Here's my card. Ellie accepted the business card. You work at GH Construction. Junhyung said with a smile. My father is the chairman there. GH Construction has deep ties with Golden Gate. Do you know about it? Ellie nodded. In Indonesia, GH Construction is handling the SOC project, and Golden Gate is providing the project financing for it. Listening to this, it seemed that GH Construction had won a road construction project from the Indonesian government, and Golden Gate was investing funds in it. Ellie also handed him her business card. Nice meeting you. Sienna watched the two engaging in conversation, then turned her gaze towards me, wearing an expression that revealed nothing of her thoughts. Go Junhyung also approached me and offered his business card. If you ever need help, don't hesitate to contact me. Would I really have a need for help? Either way, I accepted the business card. Yes, senior. Sienna said to Go Junhyung. Let's go, Oppa. Well then let's go. Go Junhyung opened the passenger door. Before Sienna got into the car, she said to me, see you next time. Hey. Take care. Firm. The powerful engine roared to life as the Bentley smoothly exited the parking lot. Watching the car's rear, I thought to myself, indeed, a Bentley is not my style. Maybe a Porsche or Maserati would be better if I were to buy one. I really need to seriously consider which car to purchase. We're heading out too. As we were about to leave, Kyunjil asked Ellie, we're going to grab lunch, would you like to join us? Ellie replied, may I not intrude? He quickly nodded, of course. As a token of apology, I'll treat you to the meal. Did you not accompany Jaime earlier? The juniors also said, let's go. I'll go ahead. Ellie looked at me with a questioning expression. May I go too? Sure. So unexpectedly, we all headed to the Central Library student cafeteria to have a meal. Minyoung whispered to me. It's only been a short while since you were discharged, yet you're meeting such a beauty. Lucky you. It's not like that. Asked Minyoung. Why did you come to school during the vacation? For TOEIC study. So many students come to study during their break? It's about being prepared. When I see seniors who can't graduate because they can't find a job, it makes me sigh. Next year I'll be a fourth-year student. I'm considering taking a leave of absence and going abroad for language study. If I hadn't had a few things to take care of after discharge, would I be studying various subjects now, pondering similar concerns? Even during vacation, Go Junhyung came to school because he had a meeting with the university president. Korea University is currently constructing student dormitories on campus premises, managed by GH Construction. As his father is the chairman of GH Construction, he has taken on some tasks on behalf of his father, and the meeting with the president was also related to his business duties. However, on his way back he encountered an unexpected person. Kang Jinhoo. Dating and breaking up on campus is common, so running into an ex-boyfriend at school isn't a big deal. However, something kept bothering him. In a capitalist society, having a lot of money is power in itself. People envy or fear the power of others. As a result, most people felt intimidated in his presence. Of course, classmates, seniors, and professors treat him with ease. However, that's only on the surface. They bow their heads in front of the power of money. Even the university president I just met was the same. The only exceptions are those who hold similar positions or wealth. But then, I recalled the moment when Go Junhyung shook hands with Kang Jinhoo earlier. Surprisingly, the other party did not seem intimidated at all. It was just the attitude of a junior towards a senior, nothing more, nothing less. Thinking there might be a chance, I deliberately mentioned my own position and even exchanged business cards, but he remained unfazed. Go Junhyung asked as he drove. He's interesting. You briefly dated in your first year, right? Sienna turned her head playfully and asked, jealous by any chance? No way. It's not like I didn't know. I've been in relationships too. The first time Go Junhyung saw Sienna was when he briefly visited the school festival. And she was with him at that time. He came in a strange car. Sienna chuckled, probably a friend's car. There's one of those in his friends. She remembered the friend she was introduced to during their time together. His friend's name is quite unique. Taekyu. Not very unique, is it? But his last name is, Oh. So it's Taekyu. What? Otaku. It's not otaku, it's otekyu. Haha, that's a funny name. Go Junhyung burst out laughing. But what's his connection with Golden Gate Attorney? I saw on the business card that she works at the Asia branch. Sienna recalled the foreigner she had just met. With a height that could pass for a model and a well-proportioned body, she was so stunningly beautiful that it seemed almost regrettable for her to work as an attorney. It was definitely odd for an average university student to be with a Golden Gate Attorney. However, Sienna could guess the reason. His friends, Taekyu. Older sister works at the Golden Gate Asia branch. Go Junhyung nodded in understanding. Oh, I see. Did she ask him to show him around the school? I suppose so. Despite that, the two of them strangely looked close. They didn't seem to be dating, but there was clearly something between them. Could it be just a friendship? But there was something else that bothered her. He has changed. Sienna prided herself on her ability to read people. Just a few months ago, when she coincidentally met him at a drinking gathering, he seemed the same as before. But meeting him again today, something about him had changed. She could see it at a glance. It hadn't been that long since their last meeting. What could have happened between that time? Should we go shopping at the department store? Asked Go Junhyung. Sienna nodded in agreement. Sure. She pushed away the thoughts in her mind. It must be just a misunderstanding. How long has it been since you last had school food? During the 2-year period, school food had significantly improved. The most noticeable change was in the prices. It's gone up by 1,000 won. Kids from wealthy families might not care about the price of school food, but for someone like me who made billions in just a few months, the price hike was evident at a glance. Min Young sighed and said, the students went crazy when they tried to raise it by another 300 won, and we barely managed to stop it. While 1,000 won may seem insignificant for university students, paying that extra amount is not a trivial expense. Some students even skip proper meals and eat ramen instead just because they find spending 1,000 or 2,000 won wasteful. I sat down to have the school food. I had a 5-star hotel breakfast in the morning, but now I was about to have school food for lunch. Ellie, who also had the school food, sat beside me. She chose the pork cutlet from the menu. I always wanted to try pork cutlet when I come to Korea University. Why is that? Jessica said the pork cutlet here is the best. Well, not necessarily because the pork cutlet is exceptionally delicious, but rather because the other options are mediocre. Even in the cafeteria, Ellie drew attention. Students at other tables peeked over, and the juniors from the business administration department sitting nearby bombarded her with questions. Golden Gate is the dream workplace that every student interested in a career in finance wants to get into. Ellie kindly answered various questions and had a lively conversation. While chatting with her female juniors, laughter never seemed to stop, as if finding something endlessly amusing. This makes her seem just like an ordinary university student. Is this her usual personality? After the meal we headed outside. See you next time. I'll contact you. Min Young and Kyung-jil went with the juniors and we continued to tour the campus. Ellie said, that woman earlier was pretty, wasn't she? Who? Are you talking about Jaime? No, the woman who rode in the Bentley. Ah, Sienna? Ellie nodded. That's Yoon Sienna. She's indeed as beautiful as I heard. I was taken aback by her words. What? How do you know Sienna? Taegyu told me. What did he say? He told me that you met her at the beginning of the semester, dated her for less than a year, then broke up and you took a leave of absence and went to the military. Why is he sharing other people's dating stories in such detail without permission? Ellie asked after observing my expression. What are you thinking? It's nothing really. He was contemplating how to kill this brat. By any chance do you still like her? This must be a question about Sienna, right? I shook my head. No, we broke up a long time ago. Now we're just colleagues. I used to really like her at one point, but that's all in the past now. There's no need to cling to a bygone connection. Ellie smiled, looking as if she liked my answer. I see. After finishing our campus tour, we circled around the university district. We had dinner nearby and before we knew it, the sun had set. It would take another hour to get back. I drove off with Ellie in the car. Throughout the ride, Ellie gazed out the window. The night view of Seoul is beautiful. Isn't Hong Kong beautiful too? I recalled the image of Hong Kong from a travel program. Unlike Seoul, which doesn't have many tall buildings, Hong Kong is a paradise of skyscrapers. At night, the buildings are illuminated with colorful lights. Ellie smiled and said, "Come visit sometime. I'll be your guide." I will. We soon entered Yongjong Bridge. Arriving at the hotel, we parked and went up to the lobby. Ellie reached out her hand to me. Back to work from tomorrow onwards. I enjoyed our date today. We've only spent a day together, but it feels like we've become suddenly closer. I grasped her hand. Me too.